Good morning, everybody. Is it still morning? I don't know. I lost track of time. I had some thoughts this morning as our church gets ready for re-entry this week. Trying to figure out. And so as we just consider getting back together, there's just a few things that have crossed my mind as important. I think the biggest one is just the need for grace. What is very obvious as we consider gathering together, as we consider the pandemic, as we consider all of these things, is that people don't see eye to eye. Some people are more afraid of the pandemic. Some people are more afraid of the government. Some people are not afraid of either of those things. Some people are irritated that we are getting back together. Some people are irritated that we're not getting back together and that we didn't get back together weeks ago. And so as we just sort of balance all of that, I would just encourage you to consider Romans chapter 15, verse 1. We who are strong have an obligation to bear with the failings of the weak and not to please ourselves. And so as we think about this, it comes on the heels in the book of Romans after a long conversation about not laying out judgment and to consider and to not cause other people to stumble. And so just as we walk through this time, there are going to be people who view everything that's going on very differently than you. We have set boundaries up as a church that are meant to try to make the most amount of people comfortable. It's one of the reasons why we've said that we're going to tell our kids to not run around and hug one another and not run around and hug other people. It's not that we don't want them to do those things, but it's because we know that there are people that are uncomfortable with it. And that may be hard and it may be difficult, but we have a responsibility to care for our brothers and sisters and where they're at. And so as we're getting back together, we have to understand that the things that are most important that we will press forward in the fastest are what the apostles did in the book of Acts. We will be about word, prayer, and ordinance. And we will build our fellowship around those things. And so as we consider those things, what I want us to understand is that everything else that we might do as a church is extra. And so, and even in those circumstances, you have a responsibility to your brothers and sisters in Christ to love one another no matter where you stand on this. Maybe you're strong and you're not afraid of anything. You're not afraid of the government. You're not afraid of the virus. You're not afraid of hugging people and shaking people's hands and eating dinner with people at their homes and being in their personal space and all of those kinds of things. Maybe that's you. And that's great. But your brother and sister may not be there. So you need to have thought and care about the fact that, and I need to have thought and care about the fact that coming together on Sunday morning is not about me. It's not about you. It's about the one who made us and the one who saved us. It's about His worship, His ways. And He regulates that worship and gives us the means by which we can do that well. But what He requires of us in our gathering together is to care about one another, to care about one another well, and to not treat each other poorly if we don't agree with them in where they place their boundaries. And so just as we walk through the next several weeks and months, I just want to encourage grace. Have grace with one another. It is just so very important for us to do. I look forward to seeing you in the morning, and I hope that you are well.